Welcome back, everybody, to the CCL Championships. Seymour and Corn still here as we stay on board with the St. Clair Saints, now matching up against their last team in the round robin. Corn, everything coming back to a finale to figure out where things lie up for the bracket. But Northwood coming into this one, and as we take a look at where everybody's standing, or the head-to-head for this one, I think we could talk about Northwood just haven't looked like themselves today.
Yeah, it's been a few ups and downs, I think, and this was kind of a weird kind of team, right, coming into the LAN, because we knew that they were going to most likely be able to qualify in San Antonio, and they absolutely did. However, throughout most of the CCL season, there were a few hiccups that I was kind of like, I don't know how long-term of an issue this will be, but it's lingered a bit, and a lot of that has come down to some of the ways that they've played their respawns, and I think that is where things have kind of left a little bit to be desired across the board, at least this weekend and towards the tail end of the CCL season. And as we kind of take a look at everything here, just like kind of a lay of the land again, St. Clair, 2-0 start. I think a lot of people expected them to be fighting for a perfect beginning. Now, if they can close things out here, obviously it'll not only lock them in, but give them, I guess, the top seed out of two teams that'll be in the top sort of winners, or rather the four teams of the winner side. But I kind of guess the talking point I want to start out here for Northwood is, yes, things have been bad, but have they been bad enough to really kind of raise an eyebrow or be there for concern, especially taking Fisher to 5 maps last game?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that we really don't know because we haven't seen them on stream. Like, with the quality of these matches, especially versus Fisher, might have been neck and neck. I mean, like you said, it goes game 5. So the whole question is like, how close were all 5 of those games for Northwood? Fair. Are these just unfortunate circumstances that they find themselves in? Like for Oklahoma Christian, their control loss was 3-2. It was the search and the hard point that were issues for Northwood in that series. But for Fisher, we really don't know, and I don't think we're really going to get that answer for Northwood until we get them on stream here versus the Saints. So this is a good litmus test for them to really show where they stand in these championships. And for them, I mean, I hope they've just been saving the best for last, because they need to get a win in that column. 0-2. Albeit everybody makes it to the bracket, it's still not a good feeling. So taking a look at this best of 5, we get Vault, Hacienda, Protocol, Hacienda, Protocol. Finally, the Saints are going to be moving away from this rewind. But for them, I feel like it's not really what your issues were.
No, not at all. And I do, like, before we just kind of like talk more broadly about this series in general, just talking about the round robin, as this is the final round, I believe if St. Clair were to take down Northwood here and they would go down to 0-3 and St. Clair would improve to 3-0, this would be the first round of the winners bracket matchup that we would see tomorrow, because it would be the top and lowest records combined in totality. So I guess if, again, we'll have to wait and see if Northwood can kind of take it to St. Clair, but I think regardless, this is going to be a really solid kind of like trend and pace setter for what we'll be able to see tomorrow. Obviously, Call of Duty, as we say, is day to day, but I think if Northwood, I mean, even if you go 0-3 in the round robin, you can still very much come away in the bracket play tomorrow with a win in round 1. All of a sudden, you're playing in a winners finals. You win 2 games, although you lost 3 today. If you do lose this series, you can still put yourself in a grand final. So I don't necessarily think playing not necessarily up to the par that you've set up for yourself is a bad thing, especially because losing these games is going to teach you more than being able to win.
I want you to get out of my head, Corn, because I was literally going to say it's a day-to-day game.
Not like living in your head, though. It's nice because, like, you know, then we're on the same wavelength and we can just walk step for step.
It's roomy. There's not a lot going on up there. Not a lot of thoughts, just something. I mean,
you take a lot of open space for mine and yours. I mean, we're just creating like instead of a 1-bed, 1-bath, it's a 2-bed, 2-bath with like a lot more square feet to walk around.
That's when we raise the rents, you know? So for anybody who wants to come stay. But for St. Clair, hey, coming into this map 1, you just lost this 250 to 249 versus Oklahoma Christian. Northwood, haven't yet seen them on stream, so we get to see how they fare up against the Saints on a map like this. And I'm excited too, because we know the Saints are strong here. Couple things to patch up. This is going to be a great test.
It's a lot of powerful matchups, too. You think to the SMGs of Mock and Dak on this Northwood roster, paired up against St. Clair, where you have Cootie as well as C-Wads. It's like, okay, this should be quite the series that should be at least dominated in the early portions of this vault by those players.
And right away, I think that Northwood winning these battles, Neum starting off 4-0, that's good confidence behind this team. Make it 5-0 off the get-go. If you can come out to an early Hellstorm, that's going to be great for that P3, P4 break. It's going to come on later into this rotation, but I like this spread from the Saints. Rupert playing towards the top of Catwalk. You have the rotations to number 2, and you win that early time. So this is some spawns. You can look to reinforce this and see if you can get a bounce back here, but you lose the fights on the outside, and Northwood now looking for the break.
I mean, Neum played his life all the way outside top P3, that rotational kill that he was able to find before pushing throughout the rest of the map. That just allowed Northwood to get into good position, and now they can push out Catwalk. You've already got Flames pushed up, Seawad falls. KB kind of gets a timing up through middle map, but you still have 9. Oh, he's yet to die. 7 straight now, make it number 8. Surely you got a Hellstorm there.
Yeah, surely you will be able to, but for Northwood, this is what you want to see. Very cool, calm, collected, and take a look at the mini-map. Everybody from St. Clair are going to be collapsing, but you have Neum on the long flank in behind everything, and he's going to be able to shut down this push for St. Clair and immediately look to these rotations to new.
And that's such a smart rotational play to try and get out as well. Yeah, sure, you don't get the double-digit kill spree, but at least you get the information that St. Clair have pretty much given up their hopes of P2 and are looking to play more for the spawns on the P4 side of things. So if your Flames pushed out on Palms, you haven't been spotted, you are the contestant player, you pop up, you give an introduction, you say hello, you haven't found the kill just yet, you're just allowing time for your teammates to push up, and guess who it is? Neum once again up to 10.
This is so different. I mean, Neum's just causing such an issue. St. Clair, they love to play ahead on this map. We were talking about that in the break. They just haven't been able to do it because everybody is on red alert for where is Neum.
Yep.
And he just cannot get put on a leash. He's on 3 in a row again, 12-1. Northwood fighting for this hill time. Happy to give the spawns over towards St. Clair. They're just winning every battle they want. Now Neum's looking to take these P4 spawns away as well.
And right now he is on 12 untraded. Maybe you turn around and find something here on 4 in a row, just dipping and diving behind the door. Finally, KB will walk away with it via the way of pistol through the door. But the problem that leads is now all that time has been taken just trying to play your life in the back and KB coming to the rescue to help out. Now that gives Northwood the opportunity to press all the way forward, flip the map completely. St. Clair going to have to push to the pool side. Lucky is they found the timing.
Yeah, they get in behind. Goody's here. Nobody should be ready for this one. It doesn't look like they are at first, but St. Clair missed the mark, and Seawads is able to find a kill, but it's 3 down the other way, so Northwood still in for the time, breaking that 100-point mark, and St. Clair hoping that KB can pull off this flank play. He gets it done. Now you have a pinch.
Slide challenge out. Cootie needs to push up further a bit more. Good turnaround, and 9 will fall. So a 104-18 lead still bodies chaotic around as the spread will lead us. They go 1-1. They push back in. Cootie looks to the top side. It's Mock who wins the gunfight there, but the spawn's close for St. Clair. Still going to put pressure on this P4.
Yeah, Rupert's in. Only 15 seconds left on this hill, so you have to start looking for some exits. And that's what they're doing. You see, Cootie's going to make the wrap all the way around P3. He wants to pull these spawns away for the second rotation, and this is what St. Clair are so good to do. I don't want to see them change anything up heading into the second set of hills. I want them to be playing for these better sides.
Well, let's see if Neum can go ahead and once more create the magic that he did throughout the first P1. Up to 16 here inside of map 1. KB looking for a trade inside of middle map, has help via way of teammate. And now a slide challenge back to the right-hand side. A flank that comes through at the perfect time from Mock. Slides into the vault. Dak gets caught down, so they go 2 for 1. St. Clair will stay on top of things. They've got the top control throughout the middle of the map. Now it's all about cat control.
This is good hill time. So immediately you see Cootie hops in. See if you can soak as much as you can. Still down about 60 or so. And Neum just, nobody can stop him. So Saints gonna have to deal with this differential for a little bit longer. You have the better side. You can see immediately they're going to look to see if they can take any of this hill time away for the scrap. Northwood losing these battles, but still making it scrappy. So off the respawns for St. Clair, you have to look to see if you can get into a good spot for this P2 rotation.
Yeah, this is an uncharacteristic start for Rupert. You think is an AR lockdown trying to hold kind of like angles and lanes around the maps. Right now, you're just getting caught off guard by the subs because Northwood is getting so aggressive. So when the timings aren't going your way and you're not able to actually sit up and play a posted position as an AR normally would, good luck on not only trying to get yourself started on the map, but allowing St. Clair to be able to have an ability to push the longer lanes.
I think that's the effect that Neum's bringing right now. You just haven't been able to get into those power positions, and it shows. But you still have a chance, though. I mean, you're not out of this game, and we've seen Volt swing the other way a lot. We literally just saw Oklahoma Christian do this in the series before. So you string together some good time here at P2. You manage to pull those P4 spawns as well, and you keep P3 contested. I mean, St. Clair can be right back into this game.
And they can. And the thing is Northwood, I mean, bar Neum, everybody has started to slow down from the start that they got out to in the early set of hard points. So first rotation, sure, good for Northwood. St. Clair, as they start to battle back here. This P3 rotation is going to be very telling. You have Flames posted up back here. Right now, he's not being much of a nuisance. All you're trying to play for is time right now for St. Clair.
That's surprising to say for the Saints that we've been seeing, but they've been playing a lot on stream. They've been waiting a lot too in the back ends. Like, eventually you have to think that people get tired. So St. Clair might just be out to a little bit of a slow start as you take a little bit of a break between series, but they've been getting better and better, and that lead that was once 80, 90 points has been nullified to about 30 now for the Northwood Timberwolves. So St. Clair getting hot inside this map 1, and they're looking to see if they can claw their way back.
Now you lose top gold. You have another player now making their way forward. Bottom side, Dak caught off in a bad spot throughout middle map. Should get caught down and absolutely will. So Rupert up to 9 and 15. Started a bit of a spree for himself, but you still have that Hellstorm to use if you are Northwood. And actually, that might be too, because I think Mock has one independent of Neum.
Could be. St. Clair deny the presence over towards that pool side. Instead, they want to rip away this art side, and Neum is in low. He's got the aims out now, and he's fighting for that. Good shots from Rupert, and it might create some disruption here for KB to make the play, but Mock wins the fight. 2 for Mock, 1 for Flames. That is a big moment for Northwood to not give up this P4 money hill. That is going to be an issue now for Saints to fight against.
And this is hard because at St. Clair, their game plan here was to push the P3 side. No bodies were being shown from Northwood. They were waiting for anybody on St. Clair to make the first move, cutting them down as they came across. And now into the front, really the only contestant you have is KB, the second player dead. It's a simple game of trades, and Northwood will win it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even close. KB's the only one to get a kill there, and he's the only one positive. I mean, you have Cootie, who's 17 and 17, but this isn't going to net you a win when you look at Neum is 27 and 12. Somebody's got to match this guy in terms of pressure. And usually that is Cootie who makes the play, but without having somebody like Rupert to give him these angles, give him these moments of timings, they just haven't been able to get anything unlocked against Northwood.
No, they haven't. And once again, it's telling throughout the middle of the map of where the pressure's coming from. You're trying to scrape across top cat if you're Cootie, but you're not really in a position to allow anything to happen because teammates continuously dying around different angles on the map. So much pressure given to the Northwood side. You look over to P2, Cootie will find a second straight, and that gives you a little bit of an alleviation throughout the mid. So as Northwood look to fall back to the P2 side push once more, St. Clair might have the opportunity to bring this game a little closer like they did on the second set.
Yeah, this is great recognition from Rupert to read those spawns in for P2 from the Timberwolves, and he's going to be fighting for that top side of the minimap, all while his team is getting moments in the hill over at P1. Unfortunately for the Saints, they lose those battles, so Northwood's still going to hold what seems like a 60-point lead heading into P2 with those back spawns, but you do have Cootie working around the back, a little bit of a flank here.
Yeah, and you developed that perfectly. Spotted it out. Now you're just pushing all the way through because you think that the contestant player of Neum's going to be able to spot the cross, and now you're completely caught off guard. If you're Dak in the back line, 4 dead, all of a sudden the map flips out. St. Clair, hey, guess what? They got a lot of time on P2 last time through. They're going to do it again.
I mean, this could be your moment back, and really, Corn, you needed something like that. Every single time you've been going for a break, it's been like 2 for 2 trades or 2 for 3 trades, and you're just barely scraping away. This time you have the setup, but it's just being peeled away. Dak gets the timing around mid, and they flip it out immediately. Still about 17 seconds here that you don't want to get up. The Saints, they have to pressure this.
And that was no fault of St. Clair. You just had the streak that was used over the top, so the Hellstorm forced everybody inside, gave Northwood the ability to push straight through middle map. You're getting the callouts from the information garnered just from the red dots that you're seeing in the Hellstorm throughout the rest of the map. This is actually wonderful from St. Clair to be able to negate a lot of that back end of P2 time. Yes, you use the streak to get in and deny a little pressure, but a 25-point game now, it's on the rotation for Northwood.
The big issue is that 25-point marker for Northwood to have to get there into this P3. Big kill from KB. He's on 3 in a row. Now looking towards those respawning players, but shut down by Neum. St. Clair, they haven't been able to hold a rotation all game long, and they need it now more than ever.
The hits coming through middle map. Cootie's looking for the player on the pillars, and now you have 2 players At least falling for the time being. Still throughout middle map. Here comes the push to the mid doorway. Kuti gets the read on one. Shot's good. Into the vault. Dropped and found by KB.
So into this hill. Looking for this P4 rotation. About 15 seconds here. Northwood can still win it. Rupert's going to have to slide in for the contest, and he does. Wins it when the team needs Roper. He's here. Should force another rotation, and St. Clair have it. They're going to be at P4. They're going to have a chance here. And they're going to rush over towards this hill to maybe stop it for 1 second. They're in. We get another hill.
Oh, that was great recognition. They still keep the spawn somehow, some way, but now it is a full-on blitz from the left side. Niam, first one to challenge in, and nobody else is there. They're playing the top side. They think the 1v1's coming from a different direction. Instead, slipping in through the back door, through the side, Northwood able to take map 1, 250, 175.
The backdoor rug pull, you hate to see it in that whole section. It looks like my timer was off a few seconds over towards that P3 rotation, and heads up there for the the mathematicians over at St. Clair at being able to recognize that. You push for the hill, you get the contest, but the issue throughout all of Vault was Neum. And the timings that he's been providing for this Northwood Timberwolves squad. 35 and 21, 26 non-traded kills. The guy didn't stop sprinting, Alex. And even towards the end there, he is just breaking off that respawn and looking to be an issue. And at the end there, he is just in the right place, the right time to put it away.
I mean, I even go back to the very first hard point in the route that he took immediately off spawn. He gets into the middle of the map, gets mixy, finds a couple, and then he just started playing flank routes. He knew that Northwood were playing so far back to where they were blocking P2s, and then he was just making plays across the top side of Cat, force spawning St. Clair deep in P4. That allowed Northwood to jump out to that, 28-point start, and then that flank that he developed outside when he pushed P3 through the backside of Gold, was able to find the contestation player that was waiting for him there. I mean, those are simply just great solo plays that you're able to make at the beginning of the game that swing the momentum in your favor. So big shout outs and big ups to Neum to not only take over the beginning portion of that map, but not slow down. How many times do we see a great start and then a relative slowdown that allows the other team to come back into it?
Yeah, we thought we were getting that for a moment, but you saw the recognition from the rest of the Timberwolves to say, all right, guys, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's maintain this lead, and let's continue to look ahead. And that moment at P2 that you said, you use those streaks, they get that break, and I think that's the difference maker there, because St. Clair, they started to put it together for some of those rotations, and I think P2 was that catalyst to see if the Saints could bring it back on that map 1. It's denied. The Timberwolves hold strong, and they get it done 250 to 175. So we look ahead to the Hacienda Search and Destroy, and this has been something that I think St. Clair have been holding on to for a very long time. We saw it versus Fisher. They 6-0'd them in map 5 on this map. It was Kuti. So that kind of sets things up into this map 2 to have a little bit of a head-to-head between the subs of Kuti and Neum going through Hacienda and trying to make those big plays.
Yeah, I don't think you can really dice it up any way else. Fisher, relatively regarded as one of the best, if not the best, besides St. Clair this year throughout Collegiate, getting knocked down 0-6 in a final map in a series where they had the ability to win 2 straight maps to cook things and clean up. That was a little jarring. I looked away for maybe 2 rounds, and at least it felt like 2 rounds when I was watching it. Then it was 5-0, and I said, okay, looks like we are going to be seeing this St. Clair team continue to do nasty things in S&D all weekend, and that pretty much proved to be true. They've been pretty decent, all things considered, throughout most of the S&D this weekend, throughout the regular season, and even in the playoffs that we had online. The Search and Destroy was also very good, and I think they kind of pinned it up perfectly. Like Hacienda, this map and mode plays almost perfectly to the playstyle that St. Clair have.
So can it extend this series? St. Clair, no strangers to being down in a best of 5. They lose the Vault hardpoint to Oklahoma Christian. They bounce back on that rewind Search and Destroy immediately. And you can see that Northwood obviously did their homework against the Saints team. They banned out both the rewind hardpoint and the Search and Destroy. They recognize that it is a tool that St. Clair have been looking to inject in their map sets. And I don't want to say that kind of knocks St. Clair down a peg, because we've seen the team on Hacienda Search and Destroy, but it just kind of goes to show that Northwood are ready to take them on these maps. And you do expect somebody like Northwood to have that experience on, your Haciendas and your protocol. it's going to be feeling comfortable. And when you're down 0-2 in the round robin, losing both of your series, you don't want to start experimenting, Alex. You want to make sure that you're playing the maps that you know.
And yeah, I think you again said that well. It's just like, yeah, you ban the rewind hardpoint in the S&D, and it's like, you know, maybe you kind of consider that like a hard veto against St. Clair because they've been playing it pretty well this weekend so far. But again, I think it just comes down to comfortability. And if you can get a couple haciendas, maybe a protocol that goes your way towards the end of a series for Northwood, I know that's a map that they've actually liked to play a considerable amount this year. I think this series does play into their hands a decent bit too. So hey, look, Colin, you would ask them to kind of fix things up or maybe see a different look for Northwood throughout the weekend. Hey, they gave it to you in map 1 here in the search and destroy. They got defense first, and it's going to be a bang out towards mid on the defensive end.
Let me tell you, they give it good. Oh, pause. But for St. Clair, out the gates, a couple of kills go their way. They win the first blood. They don't stop there. They lose out the trade, but they push forward 3 versus 1, 8 into a 2 versus 1. It's Flames here to see if you can clutch up. Bomb has a wide open route over towards B, and I think Flames is reading this one perfectly. If he can get to Boathouse, he might have an angle on it.
Yeah, but KB also has the read, and does he spot the player out? He absolutely does. Now it just comes down to the timing that you get as you look for the first challenge. Couple peppers in. Now it's a rotation back out towards middle. Do you play the bottom side of wine? It looks like the answer for right now is yes. Do you read the challenge in the left corner, though? Spot shotted. Back into wine. 9 HP tagged up 30 seconds.
Not needed for the time. So St. Clair bouncing back after the map 1 loss in the search and destroy. It's a big win there. You get the first blood. You win your fights to the middle of the map, and it's kind of a bang out heat check at that moment. And I think that really comes down to trying to gauge what went wrong in map 1. You were losing a lot of those fights. You were losing a lot of those timings. You go into the search and destroy axe and you say, you know what? Let's see how we can do in those just bare knuckle brawl moments. And they came out on top.
C1's had help. Looks like he'll have help once again down towards bottom side. 2 players out through bottom wine. Looking to push all the way across through secret, and the timing is good. So for St. Clair, yeah, you lose a life immediately. But into the back, it's going to be a hard retake over on the B site.
Bomb down. 3v3. I like this call from Dak. He's just going to post up. Fortunately enough for the Saints, they actually avoid this one. It's going to be a hit through mid, and they can 3v1 this against Neum. This is scary.
As Dak isn't going to get the spot out, and Neum gets information. Now it's going to be a rotation back, and you still have the Boathouse from Flames. It's a team kill that comes in as Cootie will fall. Rupert finds one. Neum a trade. Now all of a sudden, it's Rupert last alive, but knows where both these players are. They line up for a moment, and he gets the shots good enough. Aims out for Rupert. Didn't have a great map 1, but that is a statement kill here in the S&D.
He's sitting there, he's jamming, he's like, I'm Luke Skywalker on these haters. What a play from Rupert. I'm never going to do that ever again. It's such a good moment. They lined up for him, and I think for Rupert, he is just that guy when they make the moments so good. And I think you saw it on the Rewind S&D versus versus Oklahoma Christian. You put Rupert in a situation where he clutches up, he will deliver. A stinker map 1, but we can forget about that now.
They're not going to spot out Mock. Well, they will now. Wallbang shots. He's going to have to drop to the floor, wait for reinforcements to get there. So luckily enough, Northwood not going to lose a body immediately here in this triad. Instead, they'll actually take one for themselves, up 4-3. Still a minute to work with. Bomb on the top side of Secret, trying to get it out to A.
Liam dancing with death right there. Mock's going to get traded out, so looks like this is going to open up a route over towards B, and you can see the immediate reaction from Dak as he is trying to beat them to this timing, but Rupert might be able to make it into office, and if he does, he has a full flank, but he peels back, looking to assist, and it's Flames for all 3 kills. He gets his revenge.
What a pick and pop up towards middle map 2 on that second challenge that flew in from St. Clair. And you think maybe towards the end there, you would have liked to see St. Clair maybe just try to double chow that maybe a bit faster together. I guess you don't want to line up again like you did in the first round over by Checkers, but
yeah,
all things considered, shout out to Flames coming away with the kills there. It's a big round they needed.
I'm fairly certain for this one. I mean, First Blood's actually favoring Northwood 2-1, so This time it pays off. Last time St. Clair were able to battle their way back, still leading, so see if they can shake that one off. I mean, everybody has had a moment now with Rupert, now Flames, so see if we can go back to the basics and a quick plan over towards A. Stuns and Nade's not going to be here, but KB not able to stop the bomb. He's got help.
But just good positioning for an immediate trade. And that round all hinges on that first opening blood from KB and walking away with it on the outer side of Vines. It is so beyond difficult to rip that heady off at times. But you do it there, and then again, just that allows the site to completely open for a defensive retake, and you're basically just shooting fish in a barrel.
I think that's one of those moments where I know we can't really see it right off the bat, but St. Clair did a good job at avoiding that utility. I don't think that anybody from Northwood really expected KB to be in that position, and he punished. So hats off to him to recognize that lapse of judgments. And St. Clair come back to a 2-round lead. A lot of information from Rupert, some presence towards mid, and he just gets the hell out of there.
Now, if you're St. Clair, you basically say to yourself, hey, we have the entirety of B for free. The only contestation point would be in top office, in the big window that overlooks the site. Mock doesn't spot anything. Nade doesn't connect. These stuns that are being thrown into middle map right now by Kuti, just trying to give time to St. Clair to get that bomb down, are going to be enough of an indication that, hey, we need to get out to B.
Bomb down. A little bit of a 4-on-4 retake. Flank developing for Rupert Skywalker. He's in the office, and I don't know if anybody's going to be ready. No, they're not. Kuti doubles up. And Northwood reeling in this round, losing every single fight. Dak surrounded and nowhere to go. St. Clair, I mean, this is something that we saw a lot on the Hacienda back versus Fisher in that map 5. Is every single time they were making a play, there was a fourth member just across the map, not doing anything, just waiting for a time for that flank. It was normally Kuti, but Rupert this time decides he wants to do it. And look at what is KB doing?
I mean, a lot of it just comes down to just trying to play as slow as you can, just to either read for a flank that's coming through, because like that player that's playing on an island is kind of like a consolation, right? It's like if you can get one on a flanking player, awesome. That almost is a first blood opened up for you. If you can just play a long flank yourself, not get spotted out, that's even better for a late either retake or something where you've got the bomb down as a post plan. They're just trying to look for everybody.
Down Rupert, not able to get him. That's a good exit for Northwood. 4-on-4 the retake. They get the first blood as well. And they have the full setup. This is a perfect post-plant setup.
Yes, it is. You're going to push out to the plat side with 3 players if you're St. Clair, so you're going to try and play the numbers game out towards 10. Set up now for Northwood. Ripped apart for Dak. 3 versus 3. Number still here. Nade going to get tossed to the right-hand side. Flames might be privy to it. Good shots in. 57 HP
18 seconds. Rupert brings the numbers over towards the Saints, but they gotta make some quick work, and they dismantle it. I mean, a perfect post plan only goes so far. You have to win your fights. And Rupert, this guy was a non-factor on Vault. He's 10-3 right now.
And when you're getting down to the nitty-gritty portions of that time dwindling 15 seconds on the round, I get you're trying to get the trade for Dak there, but like, it's just a level of aggression on that post plan that you just don't need to throw it to St. Clair. Give them a bone, they're gonna bite the thing off. It's just like, oh man, it's great to watch for St. Clair if you're a fan, but it's a hard watch if you're a Northwood fan. I'll tell you that.
St. Clair at the gates, 5-1 up. I mean, Hacienda. It's just not a map you want to play them against. And you look at this. This is something that we saw in that 6th round that put the dagger in against Fisher. Everybody hits the brakes. Kuti makes the long flank. And eventually these ARs follow up C-Wads on the approach towards B. But he's going to cut it short. He's just going to jump up early. He wants to get the flank right away. Get that timing fast for the first blood.
You just don't expect that. At least you get out if you're Northwood into middle map and you're able to escape. So it's not the most damage that could be done, but you're certainly not going to be feeling great if you're Northwood here. Now in a disadvantage trying to push back onto the B site where St. Clair have been flawless so far. Once they get that bomb down, Nade will try to go long, at least weaken somebody up. Destroyed by a trophy. Now it's just going to be straight through the front door and still making play at least in middle map to even things out as Flames.
Yep, 3v3. Must-win round for Northwood. You see this line out there, Mox Flames, they put it together, they get it done. Another big round from Flames when they need the retake over towards B. He finds himself 3.
Simply put, that's a tough gunfight to win when you're trying to play off on the angle where you're pushing from the boathouse side on the top rock. But once you get that first kill, if you still have Flames as the contestant player in middle map, if you get a good timing on the hop up like you did, you walk away with that gunfight and then you're sending 2 numbers against 1 on the back end of Rock. It's the first time I've like felt like Northwood really had like a solid replay and a rebreak, especially down numbers in a 3 versus 4. I think that's the first round they've been able to take with the first blood that goes their way. Despite having many.
Yeah, many. In this whole side, fast plant at A is what you're looking at, as it is a rush in towards top bridge. He's gonna get stunned up. First blood from Mock, so let's see if Northwood can work with this one. Cody gonna go down as well. 3 versus 2. A is completely opened up.
You look to rip the player off again. Flames over aggressive. And because he does that, you lose a very valuable life. And that very well might be the difference here in the round. You have the bomb to work with, still making its way through the spawn side. You're trying to just get through the archway right now. You've got Mock playing in the top side of Secret. At least you did. Now it's 1v2. Dak, what do you got for us, baby?
It's a big question. Dak. He has been so lights out this year on the Royal Spartans. Can he clutch up? Finds the first one, but the second around the corner, and St. Clair get it done. Tie us up in the series. Search and destroy is where they live.
And that final round there, what does it come down to? It comes to Flames playing the outer angle, not spotting anything, and as he's trying to toss a bit of util to maybe weaken somebody up or just grab a bit of information, gets caught off by KB. And that forces the 2v2. Where do you go in a 2v2? You make sure you find the player, top secret. You know that they didn't rotate the bomb out B. You find that kill, and then every single play or route that's made on Hacienda usually ends up going through the top plat side. You double up, you play the corners, you know a trade is almost guaranteed at that point. Just a well-played round, rather full game of search and destroy here for the side of St. Clair. Tied up in 1-1, as you said, and well, now we go into a control where St. Clair have yet to lose.
Look at the first bloods, too. I mean, so back and forth between both teams. I don't really think that was the defining factor for the outcome that we did see. But for St. Clair, I think it is obvious that, you know, it happens one time. Maybe we can call it a fluke, but it happens twice. And Hacienda is their map for Search and Destroy. They 6-0 Fisher. They 6-2 Northwood Esports. Hey, this is just where the Saints want to be. And for Northwood, I mean, Corn, Protocol Control going up next. We know St. Clair's good at this one, too.
I mean, they've played it almost exclusively throughout the entirety of the day today. Obviously, we haven't been able to see what Northwood has brought for the Control Protocol package this weekend. But we'll get a good look at it, at least in that first round. I'd like to see the ability for Northwood to kind of go back to what they were doing on that Vault Hardpoint in Map 1, be able to kind of just like, hey, slow the pace down, be able to kind of like have that one contestation player, be able to just cause a little havoc on the map, disrupt what St. Clair want to do. But the biggest contention point that you need to make sure you're doing is, yes, Neum can have a great game or other players can kind of step up into the equation. Continue just to put pressure on the ARs of St. Clair. We saw that what happened for Vault and Map 1 when that happened, and when you shut down Rupert, you're shutting down multiple lanes on the map and you're opening a world of opportunity for you. So that, at least in my opinion, is a key to success here for Northwood going into Map 3.
Well, the Vault, albeit a loss, was still a different look for St. Clair up against Northwood this time. And you're right to say that Neum was an issue. It could be in Protocol Control as well. And if you guys want to play like St. Clair or like Northwood, don't forget to go show some love to Scuff Gaming and go to scuff.co/collegecod to check out their new line of goodies. The controllers are so well put together, and they are great for your ranked lobbies, or even if you want to take control of College COD next year on your own teams. Go check out Scuff, the official controller partner of College COD. We'll be back with some more championships with Control coming up next. Welcome back, everybody, to the CCL Championship. St. Clair Northwood tied up 1 apiece after the search and destroy. A similar situation that we've seen the Saints in the past, as they just found themselves in this position versus Oklahoma Christian. But Alex, like we were saying before the break, we were kind of breaking into this Northwood team and talking about the differences for this series, is that game 1, you didn't see the same at St. Clair when it came down to those powerful setups. You didn't actually get to see them have any setup at all, and that really came behind the amount of slaying that Northwood brings to the table.
Absolutely, and I mean, as we've mentioned multiple times already throughout the first 2 maps, the display that Neum had through not only the first set of rotations, but kept the pressure on throughout the entire map, was definitely a large factor in that, but I think it's also a testament to Northwood and not necessarily the ability to be super flashy with what they're doing, just realistically playing around the hard point more than anything else. I think a lot of times, especially maybe spectators, will try to be like, oh, you got to push this lane, you got to do this. This game requires you to go, again, inside out, and that's what St. Clair was doing against, Oklahoma Christian was doing against St. Clair in that first map, and it just wasn't working out all that well. So inside out's the way to go. St. Clair does it. Northwood did it better in map 1. This protocol control, kind of a bit of a difference, right? You're going to have those moments where, especially for your SMG players, I think to Neum, I think to CWADs as players to kind of get out, maybe even Cootie, you can throw into the conversation for St. Clair, just to be able to flip the map out a little bit, turn some heads away from where the other team or the setup is trying to go at, and then just be a thorn in the side. You can get one, maybe get out, get a little mixy, play your life. You're going to be sitting pretty somewhere on the map, and if that trade doesn't come through, especially if you're on the offensive side, that's going to allow you to allow your teammates to push up, get some gunfight wins, get out of spawn, and then make that calculated play over to B, especially for St. Clair. They'll love to do it.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, that's exactly what I was kind of thinking about for the St. Clair team, is the one thing that we really touched on after that protocol control versus Oklahoma Christian is this team is spring loaded every single time you see them on attack. It happened versus Fisher as well in that vault round 1 before the issues that we did see. Honestly, feels like forever ago.
Yeah, it does.
I almost forgot about that moment. But St. Clair have just the iciest moments to turn around a control round. I think that Northwood are the exact counter to that in the way that they play. And I expect St. Clair to have some issues here. And it should be a lot slower from the AR line. And I think that somebody like Rupert is what I'm going to be looking at to see if he can actually control those back spawns, control those lanes, and shut down somebody like Neum from running rampant in their spawn.
Yeah, I think the way you kind of dice that up too is good, because again, I think when you were talking about the overall weekend of why is Northwood not maybe playing to the necessary strengths that we have come to expect from them, or what are some of the pain points that they've faced throughout this weekend, I think it also can come down to something as simple as play styles and being able to find more or less comfort in one of the teams that you're playing against. Like when you think about the Fisher roster, I think AR Central, I think a team that is going to kind of put you in a chokehold with Brack being such a dominant force on the map, and then that kind of playing through that setup. When you think about St. Clair, it's kind of the opposite, right? Yes, you have Rupert, you have CWAS being able to be at times those ARs that are going to be KB at times that are going to be able to lock those things down. And they are, but the difference there being Northwood plays more to that style and can disrupt St. Clair in the ways that St. Clair usually disrupts a lot of other teams, and it can be hard to face up against a mirror matchup or teams that feel relatively similar in style, which is why I think Northwood struggles against an Oklahoma Christian or a Fisher, because those teams, a lot of the times, a lot of people will tell you, they are very AR focused and dominated.
It slows you down, it stops you, it's hard to break. Northwood weren't able to do that, so see if they can find that tempo versus St. Clair that we've been looking for. But off the break off, Cootie and CWAS, they win their fights down into P4, and they're already inside Spiral.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to break out of this one, so we'll see what Northwood can do. KB pushed up on the sidewalk, everybody else kind of just around. The only person that's dancing through is Flames on the bottom side, and he's trying to get into top grandmas, but this is kind of that contention point on the offense that you try to at least turn heads with. Would love to see if he's able to maybe find one, or even just get through the backside of spawn, just be able to hop onto a zone, or maybe allow one of the rest of the teammates pushing up their middle map to get on A.
And Northwood's on spawn kill duty right now. Just trying to deal with anybody that's pushed before that line of scrimmage, and Dak does a good job at maintaining it. Flames finally makes himself known. He turns it into a double kill, so 4 down. Northwood gonna stack this A zone. 2 players here. Flames tried to get aggressive, but he costs for it. Rooper might be looking for the full flank fast.
If he can get up Spiral in time, you might be able to stop that third tick up coming through. I don't think he'll be able to get there before tick 2 is in. However, he doesn't need to be, as C-Wads was able to be help over the top. Support is there for St. Clair. Dak still on 5 in a row, looking to push his way back through middle map. Shot's a bit shaky to the front side, and the second player congestion is not enough for really Northwood to be able to break out. So, yeah, Flames is across the map once again, but all things considered, not really an important kill or really the position they need to be in at the point in time.
It's not as impactful as it was last time. And look at the patience here from Rooper. He allows everybody off the respawn to move forward. And then he strikes. Ooh. Single tap on the aims. Fortunately has the Jackal as a secondary. So he's able to swap to the SMG, finish that kill. 3.2 seconds. Only 1 segment at this A zone. St. Clair going to rotate back. See if they can shut this one down fast and put this round away. But Mock's going to get there in time. St. Clair taking way too long to make this happen. And they've allowed Northwood to get some more progression.
Top middle, jump out, Rooper, pinch opportunity now set up as Cootie looks to push out the lighthouse door. Gonna bust it open, C-Watch from the top, 1v1 goes the way of Mock, but with 1 second left, and the players knocked off the B zone. Striking first here in the control will be the defensive team of St. Clair.
Almost getting a little out of hand for them, and you can see a couple smiles, nervous laughter, and fist bumps just to close things out. In that first round defense. I'm pretty sure it came to about 3 segments for Northwood at the end of that offense. St. Clair nearly giving up that third one over towards B. Would have been another minute on the clock, and might have looked towards Northwood to actually get that round done if it was captured. But hats off to St. Clair for damage control. They take the first defense. Now we swap over. This is where we've seen Saints at their best, is these offensive rounds for control. So clutch at getting them down to those 3 kills in a row to open up zones.
Tough opening, but well played by KB on the refrag, playing the sidewalk to a T, not allowing Northwood to get that early north side of the map control. So as you continue to look over on B, this is what, again, St. Clair love to do. They love to push up this B zone first, get on it, and then play in a very aggressive style to where it forces Northwood to be on the back foot and not commit to that spawn trap.
Flames looking to push you up, and I like this from Northwood. They have a player in towards the top of rope. You have Flames working in no man's land, full coverage towards the backside of St. Clair's spawn, and that is going to take some pressure onto these players that are sitting on it, but a lot of patience coming out from Cootie. Actually catches Flames on that lurk, and it's Dak now alone. Still progress getting worked on over towards A. That second tick is locked in. Dak just needs to be annoying here.
But he's not able to push onto the zone. Because if you're Rooper, you're playing to where top trips can't see you. You've got your teammate KB on the opposite side. And being that there was one player from St. Clair pushed all the way into the spawns of Northwood, you weren't able to completely contest that from Grandma. So what a setup, what a hold.
Yeah.
What a way to convert on A.
And it really comes down to Cootie picking up Flames on that flank. And it's moments like that for St. Clair that they're so good at covering all angles, covering all bases. And as soon as 3 go down, you see that immediate hop onto the zone. They're getting good progress. They finish it off, and they're already on to B. This is way too long for Northwood on the reaction.
Dak's going to challenge up, and he gets 2 for his money, though. 1 more on the staircase, clears it all the way back to 1 tick. Red out perfectly.
So
3
good.
Straight, full wipe of St. Clair. Now KB, the only one that was able to apply some pressure, forced to the backside of top trips. Now it's off the spawn side, and it gets chaotic.
Yeah, I mean, that's still too long, though, for Northwood. I mean, you give up that tick, a minute 20 on the clock still for St. Clair to get this going. The lives are even, so you have so much time to make something work. And you need plays out of the Dak like this. 14 and 7 on 4 in a row. And he's trying to get lost in the sauce right now. See if you can just drain some of these lives, drain some of the time away from St. Clair.
That's a good read from Northwood, though. They recognize that their spawn is being infiltrated. Turn around, hip fire shots, 54 HP. Survives Rupert. Cootie down low, looking for a few of these Northwood players. Knows somebody might be up here, but doesn't get the best of the timing. Mock will continue to be in a spot to where he can at least shoot over B while the rest of the teammates start to make their way forward. But that second tick, oh so close, and they're going to grab it.
Neil, not able to get the last one. Still progress there at AB for a moment. KB goes down. But you see how scary it is for Saints? I mean, in a moment at B, 3 different players take 3 different one-on-ones, and it's all in and around the same tempo. It all happens at the same time. If you lost Mock at the top of rope, this round is over. And St. Clair are just so sneaky at getting into those positions at the same time.
And in through mid-map, now it's a 2-life advantage for this Northwood roster as they continue to apply pressure to the spawn to the defense. St. Clair looking for an out. Helicopter route from Cootie on a hop-up. Going to get spotted out by Neum, who once again continues to force pressure back to the opposite side. 2 players now fall. 5 lives remaining from St. Clair. Only 1 out across the map, and Mock is ready for him.
Oh, this is big from Sea-Watch just to live 10 seconds. He's on the chase. Mock gets the help. No respawns for St. Clair, and that should be the dagger for round 2. Really close to St. Clair pulling away with this offensive round. A couple of moments where you could have seen a win condition for St. Clair to put it away, but I think that is a statement from Northwood to just say that we still have those clutch moments ourselves. And it's a pretty evenly matched defense on both sides. You know that St. Clair is still leading in terms of segments. It'll be 5-3 in their favor if this does go to around 5, but you can see that, you know, a player like Dak and a player like Neum just getting lost in the spawn of St. Clair and being some issues.
I mean, hell, even if it's the defense, somebody's at least been able to make St. Clair bleed a little bit in the control, if that's any consolation for Northwood. Not only that, 1-1. Back to an offense where things didn't seem too bad. A lot of it did kind of come down to that one isolation play that Flames made across the map to kind of conceal himself, and then that also heavily depended on the kills being came off the spawn side to get out of the trap. But you go back down the middle. Rupert opens up over the top with 1, and now if C1 is able to push out into no man's, he has information and a couple spotted out.
It's living right now. How long? Well, it's good help from Mock. KP's gone through. Yeah, I thought Neum was watching for him. So good reads coming out from Northwood. They're dealing with every pressure in their spawn, but Cootie now, he's the one to take this mantle, see if he can take the pressure off of A or B.
1 through Lighthouse, 1 on the outside. What a snap from Mock. Cootie back towards middle map. Can't find anything for it. KB last here. He should have some help over through the middle of the map from the rest of Northwood. And then when the gunfight's upright. So now it's 4 down. 3 again off the refrag on it. And now you're looking at something completely different where the A zone is gone and they're still on B.
Now we start the clocks. This might be the fastest round of control. Stack onto A. Dak's going to peel back 3 here now. He's playing frontline contact, and it's like the O-line of the Eagles. Too good to get through.
7, 3, and 9. 19 straight for 3 different players at the end of that round for Northwood. That was almost a flawless round of control on the offensive side. St. Clair had no answer for that. The first wave of gunfights that went through, sure, St. Clair was able to find those 2. I don't think they found another one towards the very end of that round until maybe like bar 1 when it was a trade on that A zone when they were trying to fully get through to it. That right there all hinged on 2 different factors. 1, Neum being able to read the flank on KB to not allow that flank pressure to build up from St. Clair. And 2, the gunfights that were won by Mock over on the B zone to not only thwart the outer Lighthouse push, but also the player that was trying to just get straight through the door onto B.
That really might be the fastest round of control that I've seen this year.
It was damn quick.
Northwood stepping up the tempo, and look at this from Dak. 24 and 8. He's on 10 in a row. Yeah. I mean, sorry I might have caster cursed it, but he had to go at some point. Flame's going to take that mantle he gets to, and Eam's going to be trying to find some way in towards Armory. He takes down Rupert up top, trips, and St. Clair just haven't been able to catch a break. This is suffocating to watch.
If you're a fan of Northwood, this is everything you wanted and more.
For sure.
But onto the A zone. Once again, the Saints are trying to play this contention point where Rupert plays in an angle he can't get shot at from top trips while somebody else pushes onto the opposite side. It kind of just hinges on Cootie being able to push that objective forward and another playing being able to get onto the point. KB there, what a snap from Flames, helps out from Mock on the second. You get a tick of progress, but that's all you get. Now it's back to the spawn trap.
22 playing 22, 40 seconds. Neum again in behind. Nobody's got the read. First kill down. KB unaware of that potential. And as Neum goes down, it's Dak's turn. Little tag team action. Rupert, he reads it, but he gets smoked. And another fight win by Flames down low. Cootie denied that chance to flip the map, and we're down to 20 seconds.
Still looking out. And C1 is well, in quite a good position. Mock through middle map with 13 HP. Unfortunately, just gets caught sprinting, but this is really where everything needs to flip around here. And with Cootie being able to find both of those players, now you can get on A. Where does player 4 and Flames come into the equation?
He's aware of what he needs to do. Just trying to cut some of these respawning players out. A second left. You have to touch. Cootie gets back on, but the Hellstorm, it's going to finish off all 4 members, and Northwood silencing the Saints on control, taking back that momentum. Dax letting them know, look, he's getting up. It's a guy I expect to have some words for his opponents, and it is easy as could be for this man. The best hairdo in the Challengers pit.
I mean, what, you get down to a point there, probably with like 20, 25 seconds left. If you're Northwood, you're going, okay, well, hey, they might be getting close to getting this A zone, but we are winning in every capacity across the board. The round that we played almost flawlessly afforded us 2 different Hellstorm missiles. Okay, so call is, hey, they get there to the point, they're on it, we get like 2-3 down. Second you come off spawn, call that in. They're still gonna have to play that final tick, and they call in 2. The first one comes in, is able to just be the stalling one. The second one from Dak comes in, finishes everything off, and that's the map for Northwood. What a performance, first and foremost, but more importantly, the effort that they were able to not only have round after round, but the way that they put those different things together to make it all click. That is an indication that we still have very much to see out of this Northwood roster that we have not been able to tap into fully this weekend.
Well, now we get to tap into a different hardpoint map, because on stream we've seen Vault and we've seen Rewind. So going over towards the Hacienda, this is going to test a little bit of a theory, Alex. And, you know, is Hacienda just a search and destroy map for St. Clair, or is this a hardpoint map for them too? I'm really curious if it really translates from mode to mode.
I'm interested to see that. I'm also curious as to how the playstyles of these teams will kind of mesh or match up against each other on a Hacienda too, because when you think of the Vault, you think of, you know, what Neum was able to do at the beginning, get behind, be active with the SMG, and like just kind of force the issue across. There wasn't many moments where ARs felt super impactful on a lot of the crosses from like top art to the backside of P4 because they were getting a lot of good timings and pressure was being kind of forced on the team that was holding from the P4 side. So the AR conversation, while it was there, it was more so an SMG battle. Here on Hacienda, this is where we're going to need to see that top middle control, that high ground over the concourse of that P1. That is going to dictate a lot of how this map is going to play in the early, middle, and late games. So this is where that the SMG kind of like mash up between these teams that we kind of put in the forefront in maps 1 and 2 now changes back to the opposite side and say, okay, you can do that great. How can we beat you in this other play style?
And I don't really want to put all the focus on him, but it really brings that conversation back to the way Rupert played that Vault hardpoint. It was just not good enough for the Saints, and we get a look to see that obviously, you know, Northwood aren't there. So we're not getting into the Hacienda hardpoint right now. These guys got up and they decided, you know, let's break after map 3 also, Alex, just to keep things a little interesting. But they're racing back. They're getting here as quick as possible. And this can wrap things back to the overall general state that we're looking at for the College COD Championships right now, because this is a big series. We've stated that for Northwood, that this is a big series for them. It is the difference between 1 and 2 going into the bracket and 0 and 3 going into the brackets. And that is a moment where you're trying to knock down St. Clair a little bit, bring that confidence down, and show that you're a team that might start slow in the championships, but you deserve to be here and you belong to be here.
I'm just looking down the line of St. Clair right now. Just kind of like seeing a vibe check, because this is like, it's a position they really haven't been forced to be in this weekend or throughout much of the CCL playoffs that we had online. So just kind of getting like a vibe check. They're talking to the opposite side, so it looks like things are pretty good. And I don't really expect much different when you have Brandon sitting behind everybody. Colin, I know you can speak to this more than me, but just from the moments that I've interacted with him in person or wherever it may be, he's a vibe guy.
Brandon?
That's got to help out.
Brandon is one of the vibiest coaches I've ever seen behind the Saints. And it's hard to top being vibier than Zarin Cod. But when you go up against that, you look at like who else you're in front of, and you have like, C-Wads and Cootie right in the middle, like, and then KB. Like, this is the worst team to trash talk, because I don't think I've ever heard anybody on St. Clair say a bad thing about their opponents. Like, you literally you'll go over there, you'll trash talk them, and then they'll just smile at you, be like, yeah, man, good game.
Good game.
And it is so frustrating to watch sometimes on the other side. So it is a tough one for sure. I think if Neum's trying to rile them up or what's going on. We saw Dak sharing some words earlier on before that control, but seems like we're getting a little bit of time before this Hacienda hardpoint is ready. Every team just looks chill, laid back. So we'll hop away as well and stop rambling. We'll come back when the hardpoint is ready for you guys. Well, as the Toronto Maple Leafs and Florida Panthers push into overtime, St. Clair have to look for a way to push it that distance themselves, as they're looking for a map 5 again in day 1 of the championships, this time versus Northwood, and that is not the start you're looking for.
That is hungry. Out the gates from Northwood. As Cootie looks to push to the top side of Secret, mid-control is the name of the game for St. Clair at this point in time. C-Watts to the right-hand side will activate as he finds one onto Flames and a second onto Neum. That's a nice little double that gives you some space on the rock side of the map. Now it's all about being able to convert this to a little bit of time. At least the Saints down in the bottom of the bowl right now. Mock looks for one up top, but KB shuts it.
So albeit, I mean, it's a poor start for St. Clair, but you still get a little bit of time off this first hill, so that's going to give you less rush to get this P2 set up right off the get-go, but you win your fights, and now it's Flames in the back. He is surrounded, so you have a chance here for St. Clair. Scrooper is going to have the read for the flank as well, and what was a terrible start to this map, now C-Wads is out to rock, and he's getting aggro.
And this is spawning Northwood so far across the map. You're finally going to get to the bottom side of Wine, and now it's a push out to the rock side. You lose the one over by Well, but it doesn't really do all that much for you because you're going to still continue to have those spawns close. 2 players on the rock push. You've shut down the early and opening efforts from Northwood, but the pressure is still being applied. Gunfight's being won. And
Northwood still has a good chance to get a good chunk of time on this hill. Cootie's going to slide out. Can he get all 3s? Not able to take down Neum. But he is going to waste a lot of time for the Timberwolves and actually force those well spawns. So St. Clair actually managing to have a chance for a solid transition here to the third hill.
There's a little bait and switch double chow into the side door. You clear out your spawn side. You know that you're going to be able to go ahead, hold on for these last bits of scrap time. And maybe you can find an exit kill off the back end of time here as you hit in the lobby. You got player 8 there in Neum looking to take the gunfight, but across the map out towards Platt. C-Watt's going to open the door up. Audio cue to Dak. 2 players instead of the hardpoint now for Northwood. Time going their way.
It's good time as well. Because unlike the start that you had, you don't have that 70-point buffer to make these mistakes. So you're trying to cover your tracks early on. Neum's going to have a double kill up top, 7 and 6. Still a strong start from your sub, and he's looking for more, but shut down by C-Wads. Northwood are holding this one from the front, but you can see those spawns starting to get a little bit chaotic. And do you read KB behind you? You do not. So now St. Clair looking to contest.
And from the front, KB, first one there. Touch on the point. C-Wads and Cootie will pair for a bounce back, but it's 2-2 that falls away in Northwood to at least keep presence and pressure here. 3 will escape out on the rotation. It's all down to Rupert to make a hero play.
Rotations over towards Nil. Big battles going on for that rock hill. Double kill from KB. Neum in the 1v2. KB gets all 3 members on the rotation, and Cootie wins the fight to patio. So Saints are here, all set up.
Thought it was going to be Rupert who needed to make the play, but he weakens up the first few. KB's able to help out from middle map, and now Mock is back trying to push his way forward. Nothing through the bottom side of Wine yet, so no relative flank contention from Northwood they have to be worried about at this juncture. First gunfight to the top side of Rock. Good shots by Mock. Pre-fire in. Second in the corner. KB escapes, still with 100 HP. Looks for the next gunfight. It goes back and forth each time, and finally, to win it out, a 1v1.
15-4 from KB. He's prolonging his life just for the contest, and it's almost long enough. You got to play it through the mid. Rupert should have a slide out for a little bit of contention, but he's team killed by Cootie, unfortunately, and Dak Flames, they pick up the rest. So Northwood off the scrap time, looking to cut this lead down heading into the second rotation.
And if you're Flames, you know you got one stuck in checkers. How long do you wait for this gunfight before you just kind of give it up and play middle map with the rest of your team? Down to the bottom side of Secret, Dak finds another. Flames is there too. Rupert trades out for one, but again, you've got full north side of the map locked down. You should know where the spawns are coming in from.
High ground control for the Saints. You can see a couple members from the Timberwolves looking to see if they can dethrone them here. Neum waiting his turn. 2 for 2 as KP is going to split the difference. Seawads hops the time. Looking to take the Saints to that 100-point margin. Now on Hacienda, they have the better side of the map. Now they're looking for that top close. Cootie's going to slide forward, stunned up, still gets the kill. Mock's not able to pull that support, and while this is happening, Saints just in the time, soaking it up as much as they can.
And you look to the route that Neum's taking out to the rock side. Timing could not have been any worse. He was waiting for somebody to push into P2. Instead, it was Rupert who got the better of the read out through rock. Cuts that player down. Now the spawn secured close over by P2, at least for right now. You're going to get a deep spawn out by the boat side. But it's all about trying to push this line forward. Dak the first one to fall. You should get the second read there. Somehow Neum wins the 1v.
As long as KB is all the way in the back, it should be split spawns well Northwood are in the lobby. So if Cootie wants to, he can look to play and punish a couple of these members there. You got to fight towards the very back. St. Clair still getting a good chunk of time off this P2 hard points, and this really comes down to, can you find these kills or you don't? You lose the fights inside the hill, you lose the fights in the back of the hill, and St. Clair now looking at a 142 to 80 lead.
And this is dangerous time to give up for Northwood as well. This should send the lead almost to about 100. For the most part, it'll be about the rotation here. Exit opportunities to the rock side. Neum cleans up with one. Still got players looking to push around, but you can see how much time they were willing to give up just to play for P3, a hill where they didn't really get all that much time on.
It's going to pop in a few seconds. I like this setup from the Timberwolves. I mean, a lot of forward pressure onto these players. Cootie's found the timing, and you actually get a spawn in the back for Rupert. So Northwood played too far forward. They have nobody blocking the spawns, and that's your undoing right now. St. Clair have a chance to just roll over into this hard point. Cootie hops the fence. He's got 3 in a row.
And now you're looking for 5. Flames pushing forward, cut down immediately. Still players on the top side challenging the Plaid out. It is full focus right now for the St. Clair Saints. Foot on the gas, no brakes in sight, no walls either way.
Eric cooking, full propane open. It is double the points of Northwood now. St. Clair cruising on Hacienda, whether it's search and destroy or hardpoint, it don't matter. This team loves it. You're getting KB having a generational hardpoint right now, 19-9. Almost double positive for the team, and every single time you look at Seawads or Cootie, they're on a spree of some sort.
St. Clair, no stranger to map 4s, had it against Oklahoma Christian in the previous series. Closed them out in a 100-point club. Not going to get to that juncture here inside of this map, but slowly closing the door on a comeback. However, Northwood continuing to win gunfights. Contestant inside of the point. Still one player here. It's Cootie left alive. 1v1 goes the way of Flames, and now all of a sudden the game turns around.
Yeah, this is Northwood now. Shoes on their foot to see if they can lock down a full 60 before they head into this third set of rotations. But we've talked about these long flanks for St. Clair inside of a Hacienda, and it's Rupert this time in and around office to see if you can start to draw some of this pressure away. Cootie's going to call in the streak. No effect just yet. You see all the fights go the way of Northwood. Cootie's the only one up.
And it's full lockdowns. You use the streak, you try to invest to get in for time, but it doesn't even really make the hill sit gray for any period either.
No.
They're still getting a lot of valuable time here. 30 seconds now, 40 went their way. Finally, it's a break-in for the back 10, and this is still time that you're happy with if you're St. Clair, but this is just allowing Northwood bit by bit to chew away at this lead.
Slow and steady. We saw it from Oklahoma Christian back on the vault last series, is that it is never fully done against the Saints until that 250 mark is shown. So heading into the third set of rotations, high ground control on the minds of Seawads and Cooties. They're going to hop up Secret. Neum is literally doing 360s around the map. And his team is still inside this hard point, getting all that they can ask for.
It's a late activation here from Northwood. Perhaps maybe too little too late. But his hill time and middle map will finally go back the way of St. Clair. They are happy with all the empty time once again. Same thing that they were able to find on P3 last time through. Shots from the pistol. Oh! Neum lines directly up. Headshot goes their way. 2:25 for the St. Clair Saints. P2 rotation underway. Here it comes.
Yeah, only 20 seconds left. Kuti dancing around Lamborghini. And he's going to get the shots in as well. Pops up. He's got the aims. Can he finish off the rest? Kuti for 4 in a row. Not going to happen, Neum. Fighting for his life for the rest of the team. They're here. Back spawns for St. Clair. They have a chance to win it off of this hard point. Northwood, they cannot give it up.
It's a funnel through the front, though. Who will win the body trades? St. Clair, shots first, 55 HP. Rupert backed off. Now it's a flank developing all the way through middle map. It's going to come down to the timing for Kuti, but through the front. Here it comes. First challenge in. Slide through. Neum wins the first. Mock there for a second. Now on the flank, though. Kuti's able to find one. Neum, 1v2 for the time.
Big wins for Northwood, and we're not done yet. Another hard point is where we're going here on Hacienda. As the full rotations now for the Northwood, they're starting to push out. Can they flip things out? They do. Spawns in the back of P2 for St. Clair. 18 seconds. And I don't think there's going to be enough at all. There might be a no. It's going to pop up, so we are going to get a rotation. Kuti, he's here, and he just wants to stay alive.
Can it be a perfect hold? Oh, Stun's going to be able to check it out, but shots in. 3 versus 1. There's one up top secret. That's going to be Rupert. Now through middle map, Mock has been able to clean one up as well, but it's a team kill. This is going to leave a little bit of a thinned out line for Northwood.
8 seconds. It's all St. Clair need. Everybody's going to be here, and you can even see them cutting off some of the help. 3 go down, and that's the break. 6 seconds for St. Clair. Looking for the flawless day 1. Looking undeniable in the group stages. Representing Canada with an iron fist.
The comeback was there. Everything was written on the boards as Northwood being able to pull that one back. You don't want to hinge your dependencies on P3, though, and they did that a couple times throughout the map. That one, you can't really force it any other way because that's just where the next hard point's going to be. But I think back to when Northwood tried to hold for even the first rotation on P3, they got a decent bit of time out of it, but it's just congestion heavy, a lot like P1. You get decently close spawns on both sides. If you're playing for the boathouse, you have an easier time getting towards the top set of plat, but the same thing can be said on a mid-map push if you're spawning well. It's not a hill that, again, you want to kind of depend on to net you significant time, and I think Northwood did that twice, especially rotating early off of those P2s instead of maybe playing it a bit scrappier. But I think for the Saints side, on the scrap time that they were able to get from the backs of the P2, it almost equated to about a full 60 seconds throughout all 3 rotations.
And it was just great for St. Clair through and through. I mean, you have to give Northwood their flowers in the comeback that they were making happen on that map. Is this team truly terrifying, and it's been a rough day for them, I will say. And when you look at their records in terms of the round robin, it does not reflect in the team that we're seeing here in the game itself. And this is why I was like, you might be worried when you look at their stats, but it's never truly telling where Northwood lie as a team until we get them on stream. And here they are. They're providing a lot of entertainment about against the team that is still 2-0 at the top right now of this list. So you have your way back for Northwood into the championships. You're looking to put that first win in that column. We have an update as well from that side stream. As you can see, that Oklahoma Christian standing up from their setups. Fisher as well, not going to be at theirs. It was a Game 5 win for Oklahoma Christian in the Search and Destroy. So back-to-back-to-back series where Fisher go Game 5.
That is a bit worrying, I think, if we're if we're talking about the Fisher side of things. I think a lot of their shtick is being able to take it to teams early, and some of those slow starts haven't netted them much benefit. I think I look back to the Oklahoma Christian series towards the end of the regular season and into the playoffs that they had, where Oklahoma Christian went up 2-0, and then all of a sudden it was a reverse sweep, and they've kind of made their bread and butter in those map 5s, but today just hasn't seemed like the S&D is all there. Maybe just a few things going wrong. That 6-0 that they dropped to St. Clair in the map 5 wasn't great either. But I guess that's something we can talk about later. Because St. Clair and Northwood here, again, as Colin pointed out, a flawless day in the cards here for the Saints. Northwood trying to get one on the board and not go 0-3 in the round robins.
All 4 teams make it to the double elimination bracket, but for Northwood, they want to give themselves a chance at maybe not having to go back-to-back against the Saints inside of this bracket. So 3 down. Off that get-go for this round 1, it's Rupert in the 1 versus 4. See if he can get this clutch down. It's the second time that we might see him be able to get that ace going. Will they give him the gunfights? No, the chow in from the bait and switch, and Northwood are going to kick off this protocol with the first one.
Starting off immediately. And it is just suffocating presence. The Northwood will be able to throw you out the gates. If you're not able to stop it, simply like it was in map 1, again, I fear we might get to a point where St. Clair maybe can't whelm that over.
When do we get off the break off for this team now for Northwood? See if they can go back-to-back in rounds. There's no trophies. I'd like to see some mid-control coming out. And you see a double team nade from KB. Chalk it up right there. This is not the moment where you want to see mistakes like that, but Timberwolves are going to fully make you punish off of it.
And they're getting so much damage too. KB and Rupert speaking candidly of. On the back end side, Neum tries to fall. KB looking to flames. But again, like there were 2 kills that probably could have went the way of St. Clair there to give them a 2v2 on the retake. And yeah, I mean, you don't find him and it's a GG.
You couldn't have asked for a worse start to that round for St. Clair. And Northwood, they take that moment. And yeah, I mean, you have moments where maybe those 1v1s might have gone over towards St. Clair to bring it back into a 2v2. But they play their lives. And they understand that in those moments, they don't want to give up those kills. So an easy bomb plant over towards B. They go up 2-0 now in the protocol. This is slowly kind of chipping into a situation where they can kind of come out the gates hot and run away with this S&D.
Well, barring another complete collapse from this St. Clair team, on the lethal side of things, I should speak of. You're looking at a mid-map setup. Nothing too aggressive down on the A side just yet. Maybe a couple shoulders being thrown. Trying to spot out Mock on the top side of trips. It was very aggressive from north side on the first round, though. This time they play it passive.
St. Clair still fighting for that mid control. Bomb is in a little bit of a vulnerable spot, and look at the rotation coming out over towards P2. Neum's going to be on the hunt for a couple of these players, and he's actually going to get away with it. It's not the bomb carrier, but it is going to bring St. Clair to a little bit of a halt for this B attempt, and Dak now looking to follow in his footsteps. He gives himself up. And the timing. Rupert. What is going on? What is going on, buddy?
A glorified trampoline played with the zipline rope up to the top end. And while all that's happening, the chaos has been enough for the slip through on St. Clair to get the bomb down at B. Now it's Mock up top on the sidewalk, looking for KB. Oh, in the heli. Wow. Says hello, rips him good. And now it's 2 players left alive here, but you don't recognize that Rupert's laying down and he lines both up.
That could have been scary too if it is brought into a 1 versus 1, but the support from that P1 turret allowing for CWADS to isolate that 1v1 for the site. Yeah, you see him. He is just able to fully clean up that last one. Flames had no idea CWADS was there. So finally, St. Clair put themselves on the board here in Game 5. And it really comes off of some heroics from Rupert cleaning up their spawn. Neum only able to find that 1 kill. Dak, a little turned around in top bunks. So big 2 kills there from Rupert to win that round.
Nothing spotted out towards the A. Gun of P1, KB, and Neum. An aggressive challenge from Neum that you would have loved to walk away with. You just don't expect the AR to be ready for the gunfight there on the bottom side of no man's land. So in the 3 versus 3, Northwood with the bomb in hand are looking to try and play this throughout middle map. And if they can get it across to B, maybe that's the end goal. But again, they just don't really have a lot of info on where St. Clair are on this defense.
Zach gets away. So we stay at a 3v3. Cootie's maybe chasing a little bit too far, but KB's on his wings, so you do get a trade on that kill. Down to a 2v2, and Northwood haven't really even sniffed the site yet.
They're going now. And Rupert sees the hop up. Dak really doesn't have a care in the world. He's just going to go plant this down. Knows that they have ample time to do so. St. Clair's going to try and flip the map to play through mid.
I like this call. Keep that top side control. Force him down. I think Dak just got the info, but he gets smoked. Rupert's going to force Mock into the 1 versus 2. He's got heli control, but these are some tough fights to win. Being on that downward angle, he is surrounded, and St. Clair, they just need to pepper him away. They got time to isolate this one. They don't need to rush it. And they'll be able to finish up that kill and tie us back up.
Yeah, that stun inside the helicopter didn't really help him out too much either. I think that's,
No,
that stunted the HP regeneration there that he was going to have to try and challenge both those gunfights in a 1v2. But that's relatively unwinnable in that situation. You have the double push coming through. You have the angles being played off of on opposite sides for St. Clair on that pushback. But I mean, look, KB laughing. Vibe's still good. Obviously, those first 2 rounds, a little tomfoolery included, but basically back 0-0 now here, Colin. And if you're on offense for St. Clair here, you haven't really tried anything down to the bottom side of A. Do you get a little fancy here?
Yes, you do. Here's the answer. Trophy's down, and it looks like Niam's going to read this one. Dax here as well. As he gets a slide across, KB's just throwing shoulders, so he's going to spot them out. A couple shots backs him down, but I don't actually think KB knows that Dak is on his left, so they're still very cautious on this play, and he is distracting so much time to maybe let the rest of the team to execute over towards that B site, but they've made no progress around the map.
I think the large contention point there was Cootie was trying to find a first blood out in no man's land. Niam just trolls and, yeah, he trolls.
Dak as well. I mean, you're just throwing yourselves at timings to see if you can find a flank angle, and it's not working. Instead, you give up the A site for a plant, and St. Clair have a chance to go 3 in a row.
You drop down through spiral, do you drop down through elevator, or do you just try to play bully ball out through the big open door in no man's land?
Why not all 3?
Well, he knows he's coming down now. Shots to C-Wads. You're really never going to win that gunfight there. And yeah, last player alive for Northwood trying to hit out in a 1v4. That's just simply not going to work. And again, as Colin and I both at the dismay of ourselves as a talking point there throughout that round, we got to stop throwing our lives away.
That was bad. I mean, I see what you're going for. This St. Clair team has been very reactive and understanding, and you saw that KB was just throwing shoulders for maybe like 15 seconds in that round. So essentially, that's going to make you think, if you're Northwood, that the rest of the team is forming a hit over towards B. If they were throwing stuns or lethals, that's probably going to draw even more attention. So as KB leaves, it's a misunderstanding that you might have that timing to get that flank going ASAP, but instead St. Clair just baited them into that moment.
Oh, this is a straight hit to the bottom A site. And if you're KB, you watch the cross happen. You're on 5 in a row. You don't want to give anything away too early here. But this allows Northwood to fully set up inside of the site. Not going to opt to push through. Bomb will go down. You have a pinch starting on both sides. Who will be the first one to give themselves away?
This is one of the best teams in terms of timings on collapses. So you see if St. Clair can unravel this one of the toughest sites to break. 2-for-1 trade favoring the Timberwolves in this post-plant. Niam's going to force Rupert into the 1 versus 3. Now 4 in a row. Can he extend this streak, even if it's a round loss? 20 seconds to find anything here. Rupert's going to slide in. The trophy's going to block the damage onto Mock, and he ends up falling. So Northwood, they answer back. They stop the momentum from the Saints. They tie us up once again.
And that's one of those plays, too, where because you had the map split out, it's basically like a 1-2-1. You had an elevator push, you had a spiral contestation, and then you had the 2 playing out through no man's. C-Wads was the one who had to play that timing around the corner as he was lined up against the door. The slide challenge in there, if you hit the left out, you walk away with that gunfight, that opens up spiral to be able to drop down. Instead, it was the second player to drop down through spiral at the very end of the round there. If you get a little bit better timing, maybe you're able to find a trade, but just no answer for it. Again, you said it best, hardest side to break in the game. Now you go back to another offense, and this time it's St. Clair who answers down low on A.
wouldn't even really say First Bloods have been the defining factor, but when you're looking in terms of this A side, First Bloods do help for your attack, and I think Northwood, they understand that they made a big boo-boo last time for their defense. This time, a lot more patient on this hold, and you can see that Dak is maybe looking to get a quick play on this elevator.
You're trying to look for the stun check, you get one, but you don't know if there's two bodies that are going to be looking there, especially since you just had two bodies fall for Northwood as you're trying to break into the site. So you get 1 for 2 on the trade. St. Clair still the advantage. Shots in from Mock. This should allow the SMG to push forward, and that's exactly what you needed. Right side challenge isn't going to be able to find anything successful, though. No fruits for the labor this time through. St. Clair gets to A first, and they hold it down.
What do you know? A site protocol, you lose First Blood, it just looks impossible to retake.
Yeah.
St. Clair just need to trade it out. You got the trophies down. There's no way that those stuns are actually going to disconnect Saints on this post plant. You just walk into their iron sights. It is cooked. That is a site that we rarely do see the defensive team retake. Even in 4-4, even in life advantages, it's still hard. So no surprise there that we've been going back and forth for this round. Do we do it again, though, is the thing for Northwood. Do we get it another one? So drop on down for the elevator. It doesn't seem like it's going to be there right away. Instead, it's a fast play through mid, and Rupert's going to see it.
3-3. Bomb is down. And that's kind of the biggest thing you have to worry about here for Northwood.
So is Mock.
And another gunfight that goes on the opposite side of the map, though. So bit of an easier task to work with now. Still not something that you're going to say that you're happy about the advantage spot that you're in. KB knows bomb's down.
This is at least going to open up some timings down through A, so it should provide some doubt on St. Clair's half. And yeah, they're immediately going to back up and see if you can watch this bomb from up top instead. Northwood clearing every angle that they have. 36 seconds. And yeah, I love this too because you play for the gamble on the retake to A. CWAS can see this play for bombs. They know that all they need is KB to wait. They get the bomb down again, and now they have lives.
Trigger discipline, so smart. And if you're just trying to play it out through middle, you're going to be able to spot Dak on the repick.
Oh, they're going to read this one.
Ooh. Does he spot him out? Long range shots. Oh, my rip. But now it's down to the timing. KB up top. Oh, SMG not there. But you go for the plant instead. It's going to force the 1v1. KB now forcing the issue up the map. He's trying to push close. See?
Back for the 1v1. KB just misses the timing. He dips down low. Sub in hand versus an AR. KB knows that. He just has to wait for him to make the mistake of getting too aggressive. And it is the patience that pays off now to give St. Clair match point in the best of 5.
It's such a hard read. There's so once you lose the sight and you're trying to get that bomb down, you have no idea where that next hit's coming from. The most obvious challenge is through sidewalk, and I think Dak was probably trying to read something a bit more creative instead of just kind of like playing to the strengths there. You try to throw a shoulder as you're coming up, and you don't spot him out because there's a pillar directly in the line of sight of where he was laying down at for KB. So, man, what a 1v2 it would have been.
Yeah,
instead of match point, series point.
The fact that you took the fight with 7 seconds left to back him down to get that plant, that is so bold, but that's such a Dak thing to do.
And it is straight down to the bottom side once again. Neum will open up with the first blood. Much needed for Northwood. Dak, don't get too over-aggressive. You lose another life in flames, and now with 21 HP, it's a push directly towards the bottom. Mock last alive in a 1 versus 3. He's been able to find the first. Looking for the second now. Slab with a pistol. Can't get it done. St. Clair 6-3. Undefeated the round robin. They finish at 3-0. They will play against this Northwood roster tomorrow in round 1.
And what a tough time it was. 2 Game 5s, a Game 4 versus Oklahoma Christian. Tested, bent, but not broken. St. Clair, they're the only team to represent Canada here in the CCL Championships, and they're the only team to stay undefeated across this round robin. So that first seed going to them, and man, did they earn it. What a day of Call of Duty we've had. 10 hours later.
And 3 matches in.
And 3 matches in. And what a ride it has been for these teams, because when we look at CCL just in general, Alex, and we could break down this protocol S&D in a second, but we look at these teams in general, these are the best of the best. We expect them to give game 5s. We've gotten only 2 games that weren't game 5s.
And tomorrow, I mean, for both of the previous rounds that were just played for the winners bracket, St. Clair, Northwood here on the opposite side, Fisher, Oklahoma Christian. Those will be the matchups to look for in winners round 1 tomorrow of the bracket. I think most folks are going to be expecting very similar series styles down the board, maybe with a couple of different maps being put in there for teams maybe wanting to try out some different vetoes that maybe they either let slip through or maybe actually just vetoed immediately at the beginning of the series. Lots of room to work around. I think both of these teams actually had a really well series layout in front of them, but the consistent thing for St. Clair, and this is the talking point that we had at the very beginning of this best of 5 between St. Clair and Northwood, has been their ability to convert on S&D wins. They've only lost 1 S&D throughout the entirety of this weekend, and they're looking to not only be almost perfect in the mode, but I have a feeling that we're going to see a lot of game 5s that St. Clair are going to have to play up against in this bracket. That just might be the contention point for victories throughout this entire weekend.
Hey, this team looks good in the search and destroy, and with this many game 5s, that's all that matters. Only losing 1 on the day to Fisher. Back on that rewind, S&D, it was a 6-5 round 11, so you got to be feeling good if you're the Saints, looking at these records that we are getting across the board for everybody. But here is our updated round robin at the end of day 1. 3-0 for the Saints, 8-5 win-loss for maps, as they're going to be topping in that number 1 seed. Oklahoma Christian sitting at number 2 after a game 5 win versus Fisher. It is going to put them 2-1, 7-5 in map win-loss. Fisher's going to go down to 1-2, and Northwood Timberwolves. It's been a tough day for them.
Yes, it has.
But this 0-3 does not tell their story. This is a team that I'm sure is going to look back at today, Alex, and be hungry for change.
And this is, again, another point. I hate to keep beating a dead horse over this, that we had talked about coming into this. It's like, yes, all 4 of these teams are going to have, drastically different records across the board. But for the most part, not only are these 4 teams very evenly matched up, any one of these rosters can beat the other in any best of 5 series that we're going to see. So even tomorrow, when we go for St. Clair and Northwood again inside of the winners bracket, I don't expect the series to look exactly the same. I expect Northwood to come out with some significant changes, especially talking about the fact that, they have 3 matches to go back and watch over and be able to improve on those, especially being able to play up against Oklahoma Christian and Fisher early on in the day. I think those 2 matches were kind of a culmination of efforts that they were able to kind of get to in this final series. And again, I don't think we've seen them in their final form. We saw throughout this series and the maps that they did take, and even the maps that they played close, they are here. We just haven't seen it all click yet.
Well, here we get now the road to glory for College COD 2025 LAN Championship. 6 matches away from crowning a brand new collegiate champion here in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Alex, it has been a very long road to get here, but
Indeed.
St. Clair tomorrow, they match up against Northwood. Oklahoma Christian, they match up against Fisher. And both of these matches are going to be very exciting to kick off that day. Obviously, it's double elimination, so it's not like you lose and you're out. You still have a chance to bounce back. And after what we saw today, that bounce back is going to be needed, I'd say, for teams to get that boost for the rest of it. But either way, I expect tomorrow to be a fantastic day of College COD. Every day has been. Playoffs, it always delivers, and it's delivering today too.
Yeah, it absolutely is. This has been one of the most ambitious years for College COD as well. Crown Conference champions this year, had multiple playoff stages that we went through to get to LAN for our top 4 teams, being back in a LAN environment for the championship again as well. A lot to take away from this year, and tomorrow we will see the culmination of all that wrap up in a nice little bow, and again, crown maybe returning or a new champion.
Well, we got a couple teams looking to be returning champions in this bracket. A couple teams looking to have their first championship at the end of this road to glory. But for you and I mean, it has been a long day of casting. We got to do it all over again tomorrow. We're going to have some new faces, of course, joining us on the desk for the rest of these matches. 6 till we get a champion, folks. Don't forget to show some love over towards Scuff Gaming, our sponsors here for College COD. Head over towards scuff.co/collegecod to go check it out. And for tomorrow's schedule, it's going to be starting at 11 a.m. Central Time. So make sure that you set your clocks, you get your alarms going, and you're following College COD on Twitter for all of the updates that we have going on during this collegiate championship. Also, shout out to Nace for the LAN. It looks great over in San Antonio, Texas, Techport Arena. It is vibing. And we'll see you tomorrow with some more College COD.